So your computer has got a virus. Well, what is a virus, and why do they call it a virus? Well, the reason they call it a virus is because it's very similar to how the viruses that affect humans and other organisms actually work. So a virus by itself is not a living thing because it can't reproduce on its own. It actually needs a cell to be able to reproduce, or it needs another organism. Now, how it does that is it actually injects its DNA inside the cell, and it takes over the machinery of the cell and gets the cell to produce viruses. Okay, so it produces more and more viruses. It becomes its job is to produce viruses. When it gets so full of viruses, it explodes out, and all of these viruses spread to other organisms and other cells and do exactly the same thing again. So how are these two similar then? Well, first of all, it's a set of instructions or a program that that, for example, with a virus here in an organism, it's the program that says take over the cell and make more viruses. In a computer, the program can do a whole series of different things. Many of them are malicious, some of them are just frustrating. Malicious, what does that mean? It means bad. It's got negative consequences, and it's up to no good. Okay, so that's one of the things that's similar. Next thing is that it inserts into a system. Okay, so the virus in an organism inserts its DNA. Same thing with a computer. It needs to get into a system. So how does it do that? It might be on a USB, or it might be a download from the internet. It might be an email. So it's got to be able to get, so it's inside a program, it's this code inside a program that it needs to get into a system, and it does that via some sort of external means, a USB, a download, an email, that sort of thing. The next thing that's similar is that when it's inside the system, it reproduces. So again, just like a virus in an organism, a virus on a computer needs to be within a system to be able to reproduce. And of course, then it spreads. So just like when the cell is full of viruses after it's reproduced, it explodes out and it spreads. Well, the same thing happens with a virus in a computer. It spreads throughout the system of the computer, and then it spreads to other systems via email, via downloads, via USB, etc., etc. The other thing is that a virus in an organism generally makes, not always, but generally it makes the organism sick. And with a virus in a computer, it does the same thing. It tends to be malicious. So we call viruses a type of malware, and malware means malicious software. We've got viruses, but we've also got other things as well. We've got things like Trojans and worms, and there's a whole series of other things as well, but they're all the same things. They're all malicious, and they all follow these same sorts of steps. So what do we need to do? So what if you get a virus? Well, you need to run software to be able to track down the virus and remove it. But ideally what we want to do is stop it at this point here, stop it from inserting into your system, and you do that via having quality virus protection software that's up to date. Really importantly, it needs to be regularly updated to make sure that it's actually being able to identify the latest viruses. And then of course the next thing is you need to be very careful about what you download, the emails that you open, and that the stuff that you share via USB, etc., because that is how they get into your system.